And we are rolling episode 60. And here's the music. Can you hear it?
Yes.
Good.
Green room is probably
This is
not
real.
clean. The green room, it's definitely not green. The green room.
Can I get some more
ice? If you're not in the band, you can't get in.
Can you believe it? 60? Isn't
The
it?
number one hit from 4 years ago is still on the charts. Green
Yeah.
Room. I like
Man.
it. It's so good.
You know, honestly,
so we're geriatric now, number 60.
dude, our Denny's bill is so
That sounds
cheap.
good right now.
Yeah,
yeah.
a little.
Nice.
Little freaking grand slamagey. Yeah.
Slamagey. How are you, Big Cheese?
I'm good. Big Cheese. What a name. Hey, Big Cheese. What's up?
I like it.
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's funny because I was in traveling abroad last week, and it really does take about this long to catch up on your jet lag.
Yeah.
Like, it's still messing with me.
Oh, yeah.
And I kind of like it though because I just wake up really early.
And your
I'm
stress
like-
is somehow lower because you're just like, where am I? Who cares?
Yeah, just a huge fog.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm doing good, man. And a lot of times I knew this was going to happen because I was in Egypt. If anybody didn't listen to our last episode,
Mhm.
and the food was so good there.
Oh.
It was like delicious. And normally I'm very picky about
Uh-huh.
what I eat to try and be safe. You know, like
You mean not because of skinniness, but because of diarrhea?
because of diarrhea.
Yeah.
Just because, and it's not, I'm not saying the food is dirty. It's just, there's different, like, I don't know, like enzymes and stuff.
Yeah,
in
you're
food.
used to a certain combination of chemicals and stuff here.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that usually will mess with you. And so a lot of times I try and be careful with like salads and stuff because there's a lot of water that gets put on that. You never know. But this time everything was so good, and Mediterranean food is like all about the tomatoes
Oh,
and the
come on.
and the hummus, and so I was just like, this is bomb. And now I'm
Yeah.
just like, I have a little like, I feel
Now
like
you're
I've
back
lost.
to terrible California food.
Yeah. And well, like, and my stomach is a little weird. I'm kind of walking like an Egyptian a little bit, like.
Nice. I like that. Wow.
But it was rad though. It was really fun.
Dude, so you've been to Africa now.
I know that is a pretty cool check off because
Yeah, that's a good bucket list for me, and I'm freaking, that's so cool, man.
yeah, I didn't really think about it, but then I'm like, oh my gosh, this is Africa, and like the Sahara Desert was right there.
Wow.
Like it really actually makes me want to someday go see that, like the actual desert. I feel like that would be so cool.
Did you get any walking around time? Like,
I did. We actually had plenty of time, and so we were in this resort, and this resort was like a city, and we didn't realize that. Me and the drummer, my buddy Van, we're always the ones that kind of venture off and go on runs and like, let's just go over here, and like locals would be like, don't do that, and we're like, whatever, you know?
yeah.
And so we go on, yeah, exactly. We went on this run, and we could see the ocean because the Red Sea was right there, and we're like,
Wow.
dude, we got it. Let's go down there, right?
Let's get in it.
Yeah, let's just jump in. And so we're running, and we're in this resort, and we get to we're like, well, maybe we'll ask, you know, we're like, we want to go to the ocean, and they're like, yes, use the shuttle, and we're like, no, we want to run, and they're like, yes, shuttle, and we're like, damn, okay, whatever. So we run to the gate outside, same thing. We want to run to the ocean. They're like, yes, use the shuttle. And we're like, no, we want to run there. And they're like, what? No, shuttle. So we're like, whatever. We keep running. We're running like parallel to the gate, and we keep running into different gates. They're telling us the same thing.
Yeah.
And finally we get to the last one, and the guy goes, no, and he kind of understood what we were saying. And he goes, you stay
He's
he
like,
was
go back to the hotel.
everyone was pointing the opposite direction, and we're like,
Yeah.
oh, they're not understanding, right? We're like,
Do you think they are liking our joke?
yeah,
Sending them
yeah,
everywhere.
yeah. But we're like, we just figured they didn't know what we were saying because they kept
Yeah.
pointing the opposite direction. But I was looking and seeing the ocean the other way. I'm like, no, it's right there.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of funny though, because there was this little wood piece that was blocking a little gap in between the gate, and the security guy was standing there, and Van, the drummer, goes, let's just go through this little gap and we'll go out. And the guy goes like this with his finger. He goes, no.
Yeah.
No. And so Van just walks through and he goes, no. And then he looks at me, and I grab the wood and I start to move it, and he goes, no. And I move it a little more, and I just slowly walk past.
Hell?
I just walked past him.
This is so American.
Yeah, I'm sneaking past him as he's just going, no.
Yeah.
No.
And then a
Like
big
his-
monster bites both of you. He's
his-
like, I
his-
told you.
Yeah, his whole defense though, I was like laughing so hard because he didn't like stand in the way. He
Yeah.
wasn't like, no, he didn't get mad. He just went,
Wow.
no. And so like
Yeah.
I feel like his boss later was like, why did you let them out? Did you say no? Yes, I said no.
Yes, no.
So, but anyways, they were right, all of them, because we ended up running out to the middle of nowhere, like literally just like looking at the desert, like, we went
Yeah.
the wrong way. And what it turned
And
out
that
to be,
little wooden door was locked on your way back.
yeah, no, we got back in, but it turns out that resort we were in, it was like a city, and so they were pointing to the trail that went through a tunnel and goes straight to the ocean. And so and it turned out the stage was right by it, so we did get to see the ocean. It was rad.
Right
But
on.
so yeah,
Damn.
we had a little bit of time. It was all in the resort. The show was amazing. It was crazy. It was like it's like somewhere that honestly none of us would ever go because it's just too far to go
Yeah.
to a resort, right?
I see.
We would, because we're in the States, we would go maybe to Cancun or something like that. That's like
Yeah.
a couple hour flight. But it's big for like Russians. Like a lot of Russian people were
Whoa.
there.
What?
And yeah, weird, right? And because apparently Russia, I heard that to get in and out of Russia. Oops, sorry, man. I hate this when I get texts. I don't know if you hear that. I get a ding.
No, I didn't
but,
hear anything.
Okay, okay. We'll get comments about that. What's with the ding? No. So apparently Russians, they have to go through Istanbul to get out and go anywhere. And
Wow.
that's a big, like, our flights went through Istanbul. So you go
Oh.
Istanbul to Egypt. Sharm el Sheikh is where it was at.
Uh-huh.
And so ton of Russians. It was crazy.
Wow.
Like a lot of
You're like,
dudes
what do
that,
you
like,
remember from Africa? The Russians.
the Russians. Yeah. Like it's, there's a vibe. Like the guys, like the
A
Russian
lot of
dudes,
tracksuits.
it's a lot of tracksuits, a lot of not hair.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And like really big, like I would not say a word to any,
Oh, no. Oh, no.
even the guys that aren't big, they just look like they would destroy
Right.
you. And I noticed something that was pretty funny. Like they all walk, and I'm not saying they, it's not a they. I'm not like, obviously you can say anything about me too, but just something that's interesting
Mhm.
is I noticed a lot of the men, they walk with the biggest strides.
Swag.
Shwa, shwa, shwa. Like the
Move your
biggest,
kid or I swipe.
the biggest swinging arms. I was
That's
like,
awesome.
It is really awesome, dude. I was like,
yeah.
I was like looking at my arms. I'm like, mine just don't swing like that.
What do you want to do in Africa? Of course, swing arm.
Swing arm, walk like a man.
Swing arm. I'm making like caveman for some reason.
I know, yeah, what the hell. But it was great, dude. But oh man, listener, our job as musicians, like even locally, dude, we just travel. It's just traveling. Like,
Yeah.
the playing
Lots of
is
that.
we play a lot. Like last night I played a lot, but
Yeah.
but most of the time we spend more time in a car. We spend time in a plane.
And
in a
those are some of the
hotel.
best times. I remember
sure.
you and I had one gig we went to together, and it was probably at least a 2-hour drive, and we listened to Prince pretty much the whole time. It
Yeah.
was like, show me some of your favorite Prince.
Yeah.
And that was one of the greatest times. So
Totally.
the road is part of it, and that's why bands bond on the road. You bond a huge amount, and also you're extremely sick of each other.
Yeah. And that's so important, like for band leaders. You're a band leader, and picking people that you can hang out with, right?
Yeah.
Like so.
Oh yeah.
So where you're like, okay, I'm gonna be stuck with this person, like,
It's everything. Like Doug Carlson, the godfather of cover bands, says you need three things to be the perfect band member. You need the chops, of course. You need the look, but the most important is you need the hang.
Yeah.
And you have them all, and that's why you get all the work. And I must not, because here's a recent gig I did.
Come on.
No.
Look at my look. Look at this look.
It is good. It's good.
What is
I like.
this?
What are on those flowers? Yeah.
It's
No,
like
but so like
Fat
the
Boy
solo
flower
gig.
shirt.
Oh, is it a flower? Is it flowers? It looks like
It's
tattoo flowers.
Nah, they're flat. Yeah, maybe. They're just flowers.
Which we went to recently to, and I wish I had time to say hi to James Durbin. He was probably working, but we were just driving all around the North Bay, and we ended up strangely at the boardwalk, Santa Cruz.
Dude, I saw your videos. Yeah,
you did.
Some,
we rode the little slow scenic route ride over the whole park, and Noelle was afraid of heights, so of course I made fun of her and scared her the whole time.
Well, not to cut you off, but I'm not quite afraid of heights. I'm afraid of how well those things are maintained.
Yeah, that was her thing. Yeah.
And so I always think about, like, if I'm at like Six Flags or Disneyland, I'm like, I know this has been like checked a million times, but if I'm at like the freaking, Orville County Fair or something, I'm like, I don't know if old Johnny over there has been
the head of the Orville County Fair is like, wait a goddamn minute. No, no, but like, that's why I kept saying to her things like, is that a loose rivet?
No, dude,
I'm like, is that
right?
I see it looks kind of like stripped. I mean, I'm not just saying. She was like, shut up.
Yeah, she's like, she was actually probably stressed, right?
Yeah, she was. I'm like swinging my legs, and it was kind of making. I mean, I wasn't being too cruel, but she had an elbow to my throat, and it stopped all that pretty quick. But I was gonna say they used to have temporary tattoos there, and I was looking to get one. I wanted to just get like a whole sleeve and just be a complete D-bag. And
what would you just like so many koi fish? Like koi fish.
Yeah, I don't know what I would have got. Maybe like a big Pokemon. I don't know.
Yeah, there you go. Nice.
Yeah, so that was cool. But so I was gonna say also though that, like you said, we're on the road a lot, and sometimes we play really long shows. So I had a recent solo corporate, and I love your dramatic lighting. Actually, it's good.
Man, this this right
freaking sun. Someone shut it off.
I'm at this window, and my curtains, they're white, so they're definitely not blackout. So,
dude, it's not bad.
Yeah, it's a little better now. But.
My curtains are in front of me, so you get this light.
Your look is great. You always have a good, consistent look. Mine's consistently bad. So.
Yeah. When we need our consistency, that's the fourth good band member trait. So I had a corporate, and this was in Yountville. Yountville Estates,
way out there.
Yeah, are basically the the whole town of Yountville is this estate. Yeah, it's got different buildings. So I set up to play. This was one of those. I'm going to play 4 hours, 2 PA setups. So this is a lot, man.
Here it goes.
Yeah. Show up super early because you never know where they're going to want you.
Yep. Did you were you required to bring 2 PAs?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then at the last second, there's more. They would say, here is a song list of 100 songs. You don't have to play them all, but we'd sure love to hear like all of these. And they're like all over the map and super unknown songs. Like, you could tell they went, all right, everybody, we have 150 people. Everyone gather around, raise your hand. What song you want to hear? Any song. They can do whatever you want, I'm sure. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so they're just like, how about Backwater Tuesday? Just things you never heard of.
Like all these Rick Springfield songs that aren't Jesse's Girl.
Yeah, that aren't Jesse's Girl. Exactly. They're like Flow Rida, the other one, not Low, Low, Low. And so
Shabuzi's, all of Shabuzi's other songs.
Yeah, exactly. Park song. And so it just a lot of pressure. And then they said also, you know what, for the second dinner portion, they may want you to be able to have the music playing in a couple different rooms. So bring just an extra speaker for that one too. They just think you bring an extra speaker.
Yeah.
But that's not how it works. So it's really 2.5 or 3 PAs by this point.
Yeah.
I'm running out of room, running out of PAs. It's kind of like, I'm going to bring all I have. Every cable bag I had, the car's packed.
Yeah.
Practiced some stuff I hadn't done in a while, charted a couple new ones. This is going to be a little bit of a long story, but I get there. First thing, hi, we're so glad to have you. You know what, don't worry about the song list. We're just, actually, pick a couple that are, because we just want it very chill. Even though there was like rock songs on there, Pour Some Sugar, etc. Like, we just want it very, very chill. Just really chill, nice and easy. I'm like, no problem.
You're like, great.
So,
Cool.
So I set up, and with a lot of these, there's like 4 people in charge. It's a mess. Okay. You have the talent buyer, you have the coordinator, you have the venue owner, and like the president of the company that's hired everybody you're talking to. And none of them know what they're talking about as far as what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
So,
do they have headsets?
In this one, it's a small enough area. No, it wasn't one of those.
Yeah.
Definitely you have that, but they have this where one person says to me, where are the speakers going to actually be? And then the coordinator goes, no, I asked him that. And they're like arguing over who's supposed to talk to me.
Yeah.
And
they're like, okay, let's make a deal. I'll say, where are the speakers? And then you say, actually be.
Yeah. And we'll say B twice. We both get to say B. So she goes, so they're just pointing out all the places I'm supposed to set up, and I guess they're not all that clear. She's like, on the other side of that hedge. Okay, that could mean anything. Other side? Which side? So I set up where I think they mean. It takes 20 minutes or more to set up your PA,
right?
Your solo PA. I set it all up. She comes out. I think I'm ready. I'm kind of like getting ready to go have dinner, and she goes, this is not going to work right here. Could you move it literally like 10 feet?
Yeah, no big deal.
No big deal for you, I'm sure. But I had all the cables taped down because I like it to be nice and sharp.
Yeah.
So that's another 20 to 30 minutes. It's a literal unplug everything and start over.
Yep.
I'm like, I'm going to be easygoing. So I did that. And it's also 90 degrees.
Yeah.
So I love it hot, but I'm dressed in all black.
Yeah.
And it's how you're supposed to dress for these. So get finally set up at this next place. It turns out I'm in brutal direct sunlight.
Oh.
There's like a slice of sunlight that's like, 10 feet, the 10 feet I moved into.
Yes.
And the whole crowd, they show up, I start playing. They are all avoiding this slice. So it's like, the other end of the courtyard is 150 people, and I'm in this like sweaty slice playing.
It's like, this angelic beam.
It's like an angry bar of sun. Yeah, dude. And I kind of like try to face away from the sun, which means I'm like Greg Zema addressing them talking. So I'm like at a weird
and you
angle.
In the sun like that, you can't see any of your pedals.
Can't see fingers, iPad,
tuners, iPad. No. Like the tuner, because I just use it on my preamp. Yeah, it's one that's on the ground.
Yeah,
and I have to literally like make a tint or something. Like I don't know
exactly.
I'm a professional. I probably should be able to hear what in tune is, but I don't trust myself. I'm like, no, I have to see the E.
Well, also, the weather affects you could, if you're on the fly tune to yourself, but sometimes you want to be in true tuning just to start at least. So
I like to at least start somewhere.
Yeah.
Close.
So it was, dude, it was okay. So that's the first chapter. Then I'm playing and, well, actually, let me back up a minute. I did post this for Green Room, but the Green Room itself, it was a gorgeous little room. I go in there and she's like, here, look, we have a mirror in case you want to check yourself out. I'm like,
nice.
Okay, yeah. And then I use the bathroom, which is a beautiful, clean, everything's white in there. There's a little pin you push to lock the door, apparently. So yeah, I'm standing there.
You got barged.
I got barged. Yeah, she goes, "Oh my god!" It was number one. Just calm down.
Yeah,
but can you imagine? You're like, "Punk, don't worry about it."
Yeah, she's like an upper decker.
Yeah, I haven't seen one of those in years.
I'm impressed.
High five. Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, can you move your stuff? It's,
yeah.
About 15 feet over.
Pinch that off and then hurry up. So.
Hashtag upper decker.
Hashtag pinch.
Okay, sorry. I
so,
derailed that.
No, so it's fine. So I'm like, oh, this is a nice green room. She goes, oh yeah, but so there's maybe 5 chairs in there. It's kind of a small closet, not closet. It's got a nice chair, like a living room style chair, and then and then a table with maybe those lights that are like at Bimbo's, like on the on the mirror, really nice.
Yeah, those are cool.
But it's about a 8 by 10 or 12 room. It's fairly small. And she goes, "Oh, I forgot to tell you, but this room is for all of the vendors at this event. There's 14 of you. You're never gonna all be in here at once, probably." So
like that many people wouldn't fit in there, probably.
No,
right?
no way.
Like a
we all
clown
be
car.
on each other's lap and upper deckering each other.
Yeah, this is such a great room.
So
upper deckering each other.
Is that even a verb? So he's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" So I'm playing in the sun. And I start hearing this really annoying sound. It sounds like maybe someone is trimming a tree nearby, like with a powerful power tool.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of far away at first. And the one of the coordinators, one of the 17 now people telling me what to do, comes over and goes, "Oh, you know what? Can you turn up like kind of a lot? Because we want you to drown out that sound, which is someone etching wine glasses as part of this event."
Oh God.
So really, they should have not had me play or not had these two things happening at the same time in the same courtyard. It turns out it sounds like I'm in a tattoo studio.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just like, and there's a big line of people waiting to get their name etched on a freaking wine glass. So they not only want extremely chill music, they want it extremely loud.
Yeah.
So if you've ever done like Neil Young, like at full volume.
Can you just crank that chill?
Yeah.
Can you crank it up? Exactly. Like really fucking crank that chill up.
Exactly. Can you make Jack Johnson sound like Metallica, please? Because that's what we need right now.
Yeah.
So
in my experience, battling another sound by making your sound way louder is not the move.
No, it should be deductive, subtractive.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, can you turn down your tattoo gun? You know, it was super whack. And then that's fine. Get done with. Oh, also I had no umbrella, which you're supposed to.
Perfect.
They're supposed to provide that for you in the sun. Usually I'm like,
smart.
they go, do you want us to like, I don't know. I guess we could figure out how to maybe just go downtown and get an umbrella or something. They made it so like inconvenient, and they're like, but you are only here in this part of the property for 1 hour. I'm like, just forget it.
And and we don't have a car, so I guess we'll just have to buy a car. But,
yeah,
I guess we could do that.
We could get it back to you in 2 hours, but by then you'd be done. So I guess I answered my own
And there's
question.
only one umbrella in the town, and I guess we'd have to steal it from some old guy. So that would suck.
If you want to kill that old guy, that's up to you.
Then I guess if you need to be shaded. Yeah, and dude, it's funny on umbrellas too. Like, this is the most classic when you're in the sun And this is like 90% of the time you put up an umbrella and the sun just goes exactly
it works for
through,
5 minutes.
and it's like this shade is 20 feet behind you, right?
It's a big long casting.
Like the umbrella design is not made for like the solo musician.
Your pronunciation since you're back from Africa is all weird. This umbrella is not working. I have a terrible impression.
Yeah,
okay.
I just want to let everybody. I've been in Africa for just so long.
Yeah.
You know?
I asked him if he's.
It's so different
now.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then the next portion is 3 hours. And there's never a good time to take a break on these.
Right.
It's like, oh, the dinner's just ending. We're about to, do this. And so I ended up not taking a break for 3 hours for the second portion. Yeah. At least that was in the shade. Although halfway through, they were like, yes, we actually would like you to set up the other speaker. So I had to have just another speaker kind of quickly set up. I started doing that and they're like, yeah, but can you play background music while you're doing that?
Yeah, duh.
So I run back. Yeah, I do that. And for some reason, the cable was working strangely. And it's got the 2 rings on it. It's going from my phone to the system. So I'm supposed to be able to play from my phone, just a Spotify soft jazz.
Right.
Actually, it's called Crank Jack Johnson, Cranked Up.
Yeah.
And so it's not playing any vocals. It's like I put Sade through there. It's just instrumental. Like for some reason the stereo wasn't working, and they're like, "Can you play music with vocals?" I'm like going crazy.
Yeah. You're finally, like, I thought you said you wanted it chill. This is chill. The vocals
are
out
so
the chill.
annoying. Yeah.
Yeah.
But dude, I don't know if you've ever heard of that. That for some reason it just was not registering as stereo. That's nuts. I don't know what the deal is, and I ended up having to buy a different cable the next day. But the thing is, the final thing I'll say is you finish your show, 4 hours, boom, you're like, thank you guys, okay, going to shut off. Someone always comes up to you and goes, we're just starting to dance now, can't you keep going?
Dude, you're like,
someone who's not having paid you, didn't pay any attention to you the whole 4 hours, and they're drunk now finally, and at the end they're like, can you? I was like, yeah, there's a rule that I'm supposed to stop now. It's an ordinance. Tried to use big words to scare her off. She's like, yeah, but I won't tell anyone. Like,
no, you came from Africa.
Yeah. I go, where are you from? She's like, I'm from UK. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, yeah, I've heard of that and been there. We're like, where? She goes, just UK. You would know. I'm like, okay, fine. She goes, Sheffield. I'm like, I've played there.
Yeah.
What? Why?
Yeah. How long? Why didn't you tell me?
Yeah. I would have been dancing there.
Yeah. After 4 hours.
Yeah. That's my warm-up period.
It is crazy. Dude, 4 hours, like, that
brutal.
Is so many goddamn songs. That's so much music.
Oh, yeah. And I'm not a soloist exactly as much as you, so I could do the loop and do it that way, but instead I just...
But, dude, like, and just, like, imagine working out for 4 hours. Anybody? Like, obviously it's not as straining, but doing anything for 4 hours. Do anything for 4 hours.
Anything.
And that's so much time.
Yeah, and the first hours in, remember, brutal direct sunlight.
Yeah.
And
then obviously the setting up the gear.
Yeah.
Tearing down
in the dark somewhat, because by then, dude. They're like shutting off half the lights, and there's just the hanging hipster lights over there.
Yeah. There might be a mic stand or a guitar stand or two that gets left behind for sure.
But the good news is I got a massive surprise tip.
Oh, I love that.
So I guess I just do want to say to our listener and to our fellow musician that it does pay to kind of be agreeable and just be unfettered and just get through it. And
absolutely. Because, I mean, look at it's always like, what is the upside of being like standoffish when it's kind of like, I kind of had the same
it's 5 minutes of extreme pleasure when you tell someone off, and then you're like, I should probably shouldn't have done that.
But then you kind of will probably lose, because then it's like, if you upset someone, and it's usually the person that's paying you.
Yeah.
So then it's like,
they're like, no problem.
I'll just give a look. Yeah. Last night I played my Thursday gig at the Lounge, which I love. I love this place. It's
that's
awesome.
So cool.
good crowd. I'm really getting to know everybody there and stuff. And the owner texts me in the middle of the day. And he goes, "Hey Jeff, like we're doing a thing called Mama Palooza for Mother's Day, right?
Love it."
And yeah, it's like this like hippie vibes, but for all the moms, and it's the whole downtown. Sorry, listener, I'm coughing. I don't know what's happening.
Can you play cranked up like Wavy Gravy? Yeah.
So yeah, right. So he goes, can you play a little early, A, and then B, let's have you play outside because it's gonna be nice. And I'm like, yeah, dude, that sounds great. So I get there early and I set up and it's all tight and I'm like taped down, everything's. Then I got my things up and the douche, all the cables all set up. My cases everything's perfect. And the bartender comes out and goes, "Would you want to play inside?" And I'm like,
they're all waiting till you're exactly done.
Yeah. And let's go. And I was like, well, I did just set up and Savino asked me if I could play outside. And she goes, yeah, don't listen to him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
I could have said that for you.
And I was like, awesome. And she goes, whatever you want to do it. And I was like, well, I want to play.
Whatever you want to do, if you want to do something we don't want, but yeah.
Well, I was like, I just want to play where the people are at. So yeah, I'll go inside. I don't care.
She's like, you better go somewhere else then. No.
Yeah. People for you. There's no one here. Yeah. So, I freaking packed up my stuff, moseyed on inside.
Oh yeah. You got to mosey, honestly, because it's their call that you're now moving.
Exactly. And it's choice, it's like I might be starting a little late now,
Yeah.
But then it ended up where it's like I ended up playing about 4 hours last night because also the early start didn't need to happen. So I started early and ended regular.
The servers are like, we enjoyed your first hour, while we laid out forks.
Yeah. And so I was really digging deep, like where I was like, okay, like what am I playing next? I was doing some weird songs and like.
And are so you do not have like a list of charts in your iPad?
I do. All I have is a list of lyrics.
Dude, you are a maestro. So I'm going to put you now in the category of Clay Bell, where you just play. You don't need charts, and you just play off the top of your head. But he also memorizes or invents lyrics on the spot, so he doesn't use anything. I use the charts, and I read them 1 foot away from the screen and never look at people. No, I'm just kidding.
I do that too.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I have just like, imagine a song like Brandy, like we've talked about before, that's just got quite a lot of chords for a sort of a pop song.
Yep.
But I don't need it for every single song I do, but it also just reminds me of songs I know. I'll go, oh gosh, Brown Eyed Girl, let's just do this.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the thing with me, you got to remember, is like my whole gig is playing guitar. So So all these gigs that I do with you and with whoever and this and that, I'm going out and I'm playing these songs.
Yeah.
So it's like it's been years and years and years of just like learning how to remember the songs.
Yeah.
But the lyrics, I haven't.
That's where I'm better, and I don't.
And that's where you're at.
Yeah.
And then you got Clay, who's on both sides. Fuck you,
Clay.
Great
Job. That's
have fun in Cabo.
I quit.
Bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I have, a lot of the songs that I do over and over and over, I know I can do them without the iPad.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things where I'm like, I still go down the list just to, like,
okay, then it's basically the same.
So yeah. But yeah, it was last night was cool. It was cool. Just, it's funny just witnessing freaking wasted people, It's like, oh my God. Yeah. Like, it's hilarious. But
so was last night Mama Palooza, or is that tomorrow, Sunday?
I think it was last night, yeah. And I was joking. I was like, so I guess I'm the headliner of Mama Palooza. Can I put that on my resume?
Yeah.
2025
right
Mama
above
Palooza.
Enrique on your resume.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. But it was fun. Yes. I mean, not very eventful, but just oh yeah, the moral of the story was at the end of the night, they paid me extra because I did all the stuff.
Yeah,
and
without
so
telling you beforehand, which is a class move.
Yeah, just because it's like,
we appreciate you.
And for me, it's just like, I'm already here. Let's just
Is that
just
a cash spot for you?
They do checks. They do checks. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So here's a wild, off the hook question. It can do with gigs because let's say, but I want to expand it out to just dinners and whatever, just being out. So let's say you either are at a dinner and you go to the restroom during dinner, or you're playing a gig and you have a 15-minute break and you're going to go to the restroom.
Yeah.
Do you fix your hair?
Ooh.
In the bathroom mirror?
Yeah, sure.
Because my brother will be out to dinner and he'll look one way at the beginning of dinner and then he goes to the bathroom and he comes back with like wet, slicked back hair.
Drastically different.
Yeah, I'm like, why did Dracula just sit down to dinner with me? It's so dramatic. He didn't just like kind of fix some out of place hairs. He like drenched his hair in like, and he always has this brooding face when he comes back, like, what?
He switches the way the part goes. He's like, no. After
Don't you even notice? Yeah.
After 7:30, we switch it. It goes. It's a different vibe.
So do you add water? Do you go this far?
No, I don't go that far unless there's some sort of malfunction.
Yeah, malfeasance.
Yeah, and honestly, my hair, when I do kind of I just basically just kind of stick it up.
Yeah,
it kind of gets better the messier it gets.
Right.
I think,
right.
And so I'm kind of like it starts to work a little better later in the night. Sometimes, unless I'm in the sun. Then it kind of turns into like what we said, like the mobster vibe, where it just gets big.
Yeah. Right. You got the pompadour.
So, the pompadour that gets a little. I feel like I should be maybe wearing this shirt actually.
Heck yeah. You like my tank top with roses?
Yeah. Oh, dude, I started watching Sopranos again on the plane.
Oh, I'm jealous.
Good.
Dude, now you're like, I got to watch the whole series.
I want to. I keep trying to get Amy. I'm like, Sopranos. I'm like, let's watch it. And she's like, okay.
It's a guy show.
It kind of
guy
is,
show.
Yeah. But anyways,
you're like, I want to have some gabagool. You know?
Yeah. I want to own a garbage company. That's not a garbage company.
That's what you take away from it.
I want to be a mob leader, but actually have a garbage company.
Yeah.
Have some ducks.
Dude, that's a real thing.
Yeah.
The mob front as garbage company.
Sanitation situation.
Yep, it is. I got family.
Hello.
Yeah.
Italian. Yeah, man. Okay, I had some other things. So was that a weekend gig that you did?
No, dude, that's the other, I'll say, positive thing about it, a Monday.
Oh, dude, clutch.
So to find a nice, well-paying Monday gig that's out of the way of anything else is just a real boon.
Yeah, totally. Definitely. Yeah, did we talk about, man, like having those weekday gigs and how you quote them and weekend gigs? Like, let's say someone says, oh, hey, I love the way you play or whatever, and do you want to do a birthday party or whatever?
Right.
It's on a Saturday, right? And it's only 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know,
it's only 1 hour at 10 p.m.
It's only 1 hour at any PM, right? And it's like you're like, that's basically my night, right?
Yeah.
And so you usually have to explain, like, look, like, you know, I want to hook it up, but by the time I'm done, I can't do anything else. So this has to be what it is.
It's your night rate for a weekend.
Exactly. And I nearly had a financial disaster on one that I booked for this month. It was some private? Sort of a private.
Yeah.
And I quoted him at the time I was like, this is a fine price for me, right?
Yeah.
And then my band Tainted Love booked a freaking killer private that I'm like, no. And I think I already talked about this, but I was like,
no, you didn't. What'd you do?
Well, no, I was like, I got to sub out Tainted Love because I got to commit to these people. It's just how it is, right? Like, you can't just bail. Like, that's messed up. Like,
right.
On someone that's like, I'm hiring you. It's not like you're just the guitar player.
Right, but when you started this story, I understood it had a good ending.
It did.
Yeah.
I got lucky. And I don't know, maybe I just said enough prayers. What happened is, so I subbed out the tainted love and I was like, man, I'm going to eat this so bad.
Yeah.
What ended up happening is a couple days ago, I saw on our calendar, date has been moved to the day later for Tainted Love.
Heavenly.
And I was like, yes.
See, I thought you were going to say the private party canceled and then you took the gig back from, because that's another no for me.
Right.
If you can't give a gig to a sub and then take it back. That's like no way. And if I have ever done that under the strangest circumstances, you pay them all or a lot anyway.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you ask them, is that cool? Because then maybe they get to find some last minute work somewhere else or get paid to do nothing.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
that's
So
a big
no,
one.
that isn't what happened because the date totally moved.
Dude, that's great.
And both shows can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, is that morally bad for me? Because I did have a sub for that date, but then the date moved to where it opened up to where I was available. To me, the way I looked at, because this has happened to me, I'm pretty sure, where it's like, you need for a date.
I think
the date
fine.
moved, and then it's like, now I'm available.
No, it just went away. I mean,
yeah, it just kind of went
sub. I am gonna say part of
tricky,
your right as the member, especially if it's enough distance away.
Yeah.
Time wise, I don't know. That's a little tricky, but
it's kind of like, I mean, I guess I just rationalize it like, I needed a sub for this day.
Yeah.
But I don't need a sub for that day. You
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
That's tricky though. I mean,
it's like anything, right? You put yourself in their position and you say, how would you feel or what would you expect from a good friend? And you treat everyone like a good friend level. So I would say, if you say the day went away, it's true and I don't question it. And that's the way it is.
That's exactly
what happens.
That's what I said, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in that position where gigs just kind of go away.
Yep.
It happens.
They come and they go.
Yeah. Come and they go for sure. Okay. Do I have anything else? Oh man. Oh dude, check this out. I actually have quite a few little stories here, but dude, our sound guy going to Egypt got appendicitis on the plane.
What?
As he was going, he got on the plane, a flight from DC to Istanbul, long flight. And he gets on the plane and goes, oh man, my stomach hurts, man. And he's like how old is he? Maybe 56, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe older than that. Maybe like 60. But he's in great shape. And he goes, you have any things, any medication for stomach or something to the flight attendant? Yeah, okay. And then it just keeps getting worse on the flight.
He's like, do you have a scalpel?
Yeah. And the flight attendant's like, there's a doctor on the plane. Maybe you should talk to them. And so this doctor has him lay down, fills his stomach.
Yeah.
And she goes, man, you got to go to a hospital as soon as we land. So when he gets to Istanbul, goes straight to ER. And they're like, they do. And in Turkey, I guess the doctors are actually very good. And so they go, okay, your appendix is going to burst. Do you want the surgery? And he goes, yeah, I want the surgery. I don't want to die.
It's 10 million. 10 million. No. Well, 10 million Turkish.
Yeah. Well, no, they did. They worked it pretty hard. They go, it'll be $3,000 for just for us to look at you. And he goes, okay, fine, whatever.
Sounds about right.
And they go, you need to pay that now. And he goes, fine, cash, boom, or card, whatever.
Right.
And then they go, yep, you need to have the surgery. You need to pay it now. Do you want the surgery? And he goes, yes. It was like $13,000. And he's like, that's rough. And
crazy.
People go to Turkey to get things done cheaper, right?
Yeah.
But I think
it would have been at least 14.5 in the U.S.
They were like, oh, dude, American, like we're cha-ching,
because how quick he busted out the card just for the first 3K.
Yeah,
right?
And they're like, or you could just, you might
die.
be okay. Yeah. But he got the surgery, and he made it to the show 2 days later. How crazy!
And he did the show.
And he did he's the sound guy. So, but
yeah, but dude, that's rock star.
So, but that's kind of brings up a crazy. Oh, see, I just want to point out to the listener, Bray had to sneeze, and he turned his head away from the mic.
Yeah.
And sneeze so to not make a noise in the mic. I've never seen that in my life. No.
I've been doing it like 3 times. I think I'm the culprit today.
No, I just go I sneeze on the mic.
Into it. Yeah, you lean in.
Into it, and then so this brings up an interesting point being a musician. People go, "Wow, your schedule's so great. You know, you only have to work whatever days, this and that." But the stress of a musician is those few days or those special days, you have to be there, right? The show must go on.
Half the time you're reviewing what you're about to do.
Yep.
Or you're doing a podcast in a hallway. No.
Yeah.
No, but the stage time is a small fraction because you're practicing, preparing.
But it's just traveling. I guess the point of like my buddy that got appendicitis, you know, it's like for him, we don't have that many shows with that artist. But that one just happened to be, and so it's like any normal person would be like, dude, like I almost died, like I'm missing the show. But
or just
that's not even an option. Like it's like, man, you like kind of need to be there. You know, it's like
I'd like to think, and I bet you that Enrique was like, dude, you saved it. You know, just kind of showed him the appreciation of all that effort and money the guy made just to be there and
absolutely
be his word. That's huge.
I've seen it multiple times in the Enrique camp. These guys that are really deep in the camp that have been there a long time, make these huge sacrifices to do shows. You know, like Jamar, who's our percussionist, who's been with him forever and ever and ever. When we were on tour, his mom passed away, and his mom was in Brazil, but he stayed and played the shows, you know, and he was, you know, as
he's like, I can't bring her back, right? Why do I go?
No, dude. Yeah, it's just all like nonchalant. No, he was destroyed. Like it was like, it was horrible. And we were all like, man, like, you know, like he's hanging around.
And you end up dedicating whatever, you know, your show, his performance to her.
Yep.
Wow. Man.
So yeah, I mean, musicians, you know, a lot of us.
Well, we definitely miss most family and friend functions of any kind.
Oh, dude.
Because they always happen on weekends for most people's schedule. We miss so much. Yeah. And let me say, I think it sounds like for a moment we're complaining. We choose this life and it's a real gift, but that is something you may not think about. You're always like, how come Jeff never comes to anything?
I know.
He's working on those days. Why don't you do something on Monday at noon? How about that?
Yeah, duh. I know.
That's your voice.
I've actually had people, like close friends of mine have had like events on days where they're like, you know, I purposely did this, especially if they have a bunch of musician friends. Yeah. Where they're like, no, we're going to do it on like a Sunday night or something. And I'm like, well, I'm actually booked. No. But,
I know. Well, that happens too. Yeah.
But so, you know, it happens.
This year, usually I would throw my own original music show on an off day. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to do a little self promo as I have an album release planned for October 17th. It's a Friday, but it'll be an event at Club Fox in Redwood City. Oh, so it's a Friday, but any of my musician friends or anyone who'd like to come, just save the date, you know.
Absolutely. That's awesome. And dude, I'm so bummed that I had to move that video, but I'm glad I did because a show.
Was that the date that it moved to? From the earlier story? Oh, yes. I had a feeling. Yeah. Well, dude, we're going to be ready for it whenever you are.
We're going to do it. The mixing hasn't even started. And I know you mentioned that you're like, I do most of my videos before they're unmixed. Done.
Yeah.
That's kind of a BS excuse of myself to use that. But it's just, I feel like I have a lot going on right now. I want to be a little more
you know what you need.
But it's going to be great though. Once we do it, me and Bray are going to do a video together. It's going to be awesome
for a Sabru song. So stay tuned.
For a Sabru song. That's right. Cool, man. Well, let's freaking wrap this up and get this thing out to the world. Cause Clay is waiting and he's in Mexico.
Waiting in Mexico.
Yeah.
That's
I've got a Yarnar I'm pretty proud of this one, honestly, because it happened in real time. So, this happened to me. I was at a bar just getting some food, and I do love a poke bowl, as I've mentioned before. And I was like, let's do the poke bowl. And I'm at a bar, right? They hand you chopsticks. The R&R is just chopsticks, like giving you chopsticks when you're obviously like, like I'm just like a white guy, like I'm probably not good at chopsticks. It's a bunch of rice.
I can barely use a fork.
Okay. I can barely use a fork. It made me really. I had a few drinks in me, and I was just looking at these chopsticks, and I started to laugh because I'm like, what an idea!
You're like picking up one grain of rice at a time.
Because it's like, okay, wouldn't it be hilarious every time we serve this type of cuisine? We give them these two little sticks and watch them struggle with it.
Yeah.
Like, instead of just eat your food. It's like, no, let's make this kind of funny.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the R&R is, I guess,
chopsticks.
just the idea of chopsticks.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Well, I feel that it must be, my go-to thought is that I'm not sophisticated enough, or we aren't, those who don't use it, because they probably used them before we had forks. Absolutely. And they're so people who are good at that are so adept and like effortless with it, which I'm not. I mean, I can get by, but I can't just not think about it and be effortless. It's definitely a choice and a like conscious thing I have to think about. My wife's better at it than me, but yeah, I definitely will use them if they're given to me rather than either use the fork that's there or ask for a fork, unless I'm just like frustrated on the kind of food it is. I don't know.
Right. If I'm going to like what's that, like a sushi place like Kuni or whatever, like they don't really give you an option, and like to go out of the way and say, "Can I get a fork?" Now that's a little embarrassing. Like I'm not gonna do that. Like,
can I get a fork and a raspberry Fanta? Just like
Actually, can I get one of those cool spoons that are forks? What's that called? A spork? Can I get a spork?
It's a foon. It's a foon. Yeah, foon.
I like to scoop up my rice and poke things too. Yeah,
poke my pokey.
So like, if I'm there, okay, yes, this is what we're doing. We're using the chopsticks.
Yep.
I still think it's hilarious.
I'm only going to eat half my food, and it's going to take twice as long.
Yeah, well, because then with sushi, you can grab it. But if I'm in a bar, like in my case, I was in a bar in Miami. I think it was an Irish bar. And I got a poke bowl, and they brought me the chopsticks, and it's mostly rice and stuff. And I'm like, okay, this is like, no, thank you. I'll use the fork because there's plenty of forks, right?
So now I also see you kind of doing what I do a little bit, which is go back and forth on your pronunciation.
Of which one?
Pokey. Poke.
Is it poke?
It's
or poke?
Probably poke, but I can't
just
get myself to say poke.
Poke. Yeah,
it's so
I think I just
posh.
say pokey. Pokey. It sounds weird if you say it that many times.
Yeah, you're like,
pokey.
I want to pick a sound that's somewhere in between pokey.
Yeah.
You just kind of mumble it. You're like poke.
Yeah. Bowl of stuff. Yeah. Can
I get a seafood bowl?
Can I get a seafood?
What kind?
That sounds gross.
Okay.
The kind that I just poke the server. Boop.
Yeah. Oh, I get it.
Yeah. Oh, very nice. Yeah. Yeah, it kind of baffles me though. I feel like there's other cultures that have ways of eating food too that aren't forced upon.
Turkish people are like, we eat with 2 bricks. Like, okay.
Goose just puts on the
or
table.
Russians, I should say.
Yeah, right.
And we swing our arms really fast. Yeah. Swipe food in front of my face.
Yeah. So that's mine. That's what I got.
Dang, dude. This one is not as good as that, but I won't start it that way. This is a more kind of serious one, but this is from drummer Matty Germano.
Okay.
Drummer for New Moon on Monday and Neon Velvet and many more stuff.
Yep.
He goes, I got one for you for your show, which is Yarnar biopics. So I'm like, well, what do you mean? Movies about musicians. And I was like, okay, well, yeah, why wouldn't we like those? And then he started to say, well, a lot of them frustrate him because they're really inaccurate or they're focusing on some part of their life that's not interesting to Matt, at least. So he's like, I didn't see a single paradiddle, no, drummer joke. But I think I'll just say I'm a total yar because I am interested, and I'm kind of like down with whatever piece of the life they want to talk about,
right?
Because you can read about most of people's life anyway. So if they choose something random, I might even prefer that rather than just concert footage and recreating that. The behind the scenes relationships kind of stuff I probably prefer. Yeah. Which in general, I think the biopics show a lot of that. So I haven't watched the Bob Dylan one yet, but I do plan to. I want to check it out. So
I heard it's good.
I'm a yar. What do you think?
I'm a yar too. I think it is an interesting point though, because anybody can make anything they want and put it up.
Yeah.
And I remember there was one that I think it was on Netflix or I found it somewhere, and it was a Deftones.
Whoa! I gotta watch that.
But it was unauthorized, so they didn't have any Deftones.
It's like about
music.
the Muppets, but just called that. It's all wrong.
It was just funny because it would be like, and then they're playing, and it would like do like the music in the background was like Deftones ish, but it wasn't the real music because they couldn't. It was unauthorized.
I see.
So I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, but I think that's what Maddie's talking about is stuff like that, or imagine your favorite artist, whoever that is, and they make one and it's just cast.
Yeah. You're
not happy with the casting and the way they portray the person, so maybe taking it that deep. I mean, obviously then it's a nar, but just as a subject, I thought it was funny how he presented it. Like, what do you think? Biopics.
Yeah, biopics. I'm going to have to say yar because I think it is interesting because everybody has a different relationship with maybe why they're making it. Because what if it's someone that just knows crazy things about this artist?
Yeah, they're like the hairdresser or something.
Yeah, like other people don't know. And so I do get annoyed when you just hear the same stories over and over. And it's like, come on, man.
Yeah, but, a nice fresh take is cool.
I'm a yar on that.
Nice.
Sure. Why not?
Controversial here in the green room.
Yeah, bro. Germano, that's my strung out, bro. We're like the only ones on the planet, or maybe the only ones that I know in the Bay Area that love that band, Strung Out.
Strung Out. Nice.
Yeah. A little West Coast metal. But we're going to live bring this out. Are you ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you, everybody. Adios.
Peace.
Green room is probably
and you gotta
not
dance.
Clean. The green room.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely not green. The green room. Can I get some more ice?
Oh, look how dirty that is.
You can't get in.
Later.
Lates.